Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our broadcast. We trust that you guys are good and well. Do let us know if you are hearing us loud and clear this morning. Happy to have each and every one of you with us this morning. Good to see you, John Jones and June Chase. Good to see Veronica. Good to see Lilith. How are you guys doing today? Vanessa Andrews is here with us. Everett Small, Evelina, Bernice, Deborah, Eva, good to have all of you here with us this morning on the live. Do us a big favor and share the broadcast so that others get the valid and credible information as well. Whether you're joining us on my Facebook profile or in the Credible Sources page or the Christopher Jones page or the APNU Coalition page, share the broadcast. You're joining us on the Tube, folks. You're joining us on YouTube. Share the broadcast so that others can benefit from the information as well. Grace and Brenda, Siobhan and Raul and John and all the other guys who are watching us this morning. We are privileged to have you all in the live. We have a couple of things we want to draw to your attention, and hopefully we get through it in about 40 minutes or so, and then we come out of your face, out of your ears, so that you guys can go ahead and continue to have a fantastic day. Please and thank you. That's what we're going to do this morning. Sonia Massey Cup, we see you on the live as well. All of those folks, Sharon Mercurius, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Sharon Mercurius. Happy birthday. Mandy Cummins, good to see you. Sharma Grant Melville, good to see you as well. And Carlton Smith. You folks really and truly make these programs what they are because you all show up. You all show up, and it matters to us. Thank you so much. Guys are saying, I just share. Thank you so much. Please and thank you. Brian and Valerie. Going to have all of you here. You know, us big people got to stick together. You know, us big people, we got to stick together. All of you who are watching us, and for whatever reason, you can't share the broadcast. You can't even smash that emoji button. We understand. Sometimes it's more than you. Sometimes it's more than you. We understand. Don't even bother with it. Don't even bother with it. Don't even bother. You know, just go with it. 439 of you watching us live between Facebook and YouTube. We got 30 emojis. Don't even bother. It's the kind of day. I was just listening before coming on to Irfan Ali. President Irfan Ali had an interview on Main Street about some of his plans and so on for the city, some of what they've been doing at the UN and so on. If it's in bother you, don't even bother with it. Naomi, good morning. Good morning, Naomi. Joy and Mandy, good to have you. Sandra Hanover, Auntie Sandra in the live. Roxanne Garwick, Carlton Smith, John Jones. 500 of you on the live now. 40 people click that emoji button. I know. Don't even bother with it. You know? As far as possible. Maybe we should start the show with that on a daily basis. The desideratum. As far as possible. Now, if you like it, as far as possible, live peaceably, peacefully, with all men. Don't even sweat the tough stuff. That's what we can do with y'all. Live peaceably with all men. You know, avoid loud and vexatious, loud and aggressive people. They're a vexation to the spirit. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Wherever you all are joining us from this morning, we want to bring a couple of things to your attention. This morning. And I know lots of you have been following this school superintendent issue. Boss, Boozman says, let me get it right. One love, bro. Mandy Cummins, preach. Yeah. Damn. Go among the noise and haste. I'm recollecting it from memory. Remembering what virtue there is in silence. I remember. Wasn't so long ago. Preparing as a child to go off to school. Primary school and secondary school. And whether it was the radio playing or it was some music on, that was preparation for the morning. And I think I started my day better. Listening to the Desiderata. You know, you are a child of the universe. No less than the what? The bees and the stars. Am I quoting it right? You have a right to be here. Man, that sends you a little oomph. A little pep in your step. You know, for the day ahead. Good morning, folks. How you all doing? If your spouse woke up next to you and sucked the teeth, they even say good morning. Good morning. Good morning, folks. You've been missed. I missed you all. See, that's why I like the morning program. It's so slow pace. In the evening, bam, 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 bam. You know, you got to keep going. But in the morning, we get to slow down and say hello. Hello. Hello again. Hello. Neil Diamond. It's good to need you like I do. But to feel this way when I hear you say, as old soul, y'all mad at me. Good morning, guys. So I know lots of you have been following this story. And I think, right? Naomi wants to know how Irfan got Times rising influenza. Is that the influenza, the virus? But can't keep alive and get 500 people. I don't know. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes times might like you, but other people don't like you. I don't know. But I know lots of you, what I do know is that lots of you may have been following this story with this US-based Guyanese school superintendent who's been having a tough time quite recently. And I know some of y'all I've seen. You know, I'd rather be your friend, because if you all treat your friends so rough, imagine how you treat your enemies. He over there so long, he's straight. I don't know about that. I don't know all the circumstances of the man's immigration status. But I know one thing I like about being home. Right? Notwithstanding them boys, right? Even on the live that can't get 500 people. Notwithstanding, you don't got an immigration problem. That's why sometimes it confuses me. You coming back in your country, you got a Guyanese passport, and then people ask you, how long you staying? Don't do me that. I come home, don't mind my business. Give me easy time. How long you staying? Till the roll is call up yonder? I don't understand. See, y'all have been very critical. It's so long he there. Earning 300,000 US a year. He ain't buy it, no, but he ain't buy the thing yet. He ain't fix himself straight yet. And then he there fronting. Some of y'all are so harsh. Some of y'all are so harsh. Right? Right. Y'all are so harsh. Oh, Marlon. Oh. The Iowa State Department. Right, my Lord. I'm going to get to the State Department in a second. The Iowa Department of Education revoked the license of Guyanese born, right? Des Moines, Iowa. Is it Des Moines, Iowa? School Superintendent Ian Roberts. This is after his arrest by U.S. immigration officials. You know what makes this even worse? Is that the U.S. is clamping down on illegals. And I saw Fox News, thanks to Ron Austin Jr., oh, they've been going to town on this. It's our countryman. Our countryman, but they've been going to town on this. He had a gun in the car. He had 3,000 US. You know, when I see Caucasians do all these school shootings and so on, it's always the childhood. He had a troubled childhood. Suddenly this man is a beast. He had a gun. He had 3,000 US. I mean, my God. What was he going to do with that? You know, I don't know all the circumstances of Ian Roberts' immigration status. You know, but we're watching it. We're told also that the school has placed him on leave. I was made to understand that was with pay, and now I'm hearing that has changed. Right? And that Roberts is now facing deportation proceedings. Yeah. Deportation proceedings. I see you all do the maths quick. You all say over 30 years. Roberts is in the US. Seems to have served at some very high levels in the education sector. Nobody seems to have had a problem with the quality of his work. I don't get a sense. But it's the quality of his information status. Right? That is where the contention is. And I saw a reporting also that suggested that on his file, he had said he was an American citizen. And so a lot of this is being blamed on due diligence, that the school board, the Department of Education board did not do the due diligence. You know, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I want to be kind, you know, but countries have rules and you got to abide by those rules. Right? You got to abide by those rules. Overstaying is a problem. You need permit to work, what have you. You have to do that. And let us keep the flag flying high, you know. Let us keep the flag flying high. So let's see. Marlon Thomas says that the Trump administration is raising the citizenship fee to $2,000. That's 400,000 plus Guyana dollars. Raising the citizenship fee. Well, I know. Superintendent Ian Roberts, he would have no problem paying that. He was earning 300,000 US a year. Is that a lot of money? The folks who in the West, is that a lot of money? 300,000 US a year. Is that a lot of money? Is that like middle income? I think I saw something to the effect that people used to be able to live on that in Manhattan. I was reading something quite recently about the housing situation in Manhattan. I know Manhattan is expensive, and some people used to be able to live on that comfortably in Manhattan, but that's not the case now. Tommy Gibbs said, hell yeah, it's a lot of money. All right, I emphasize the hell in Tommy Gibbs' response. He said, hell yeah, that's a lot of money. Right? Somebody says $5 million Guyana dollars. Is that per month? Is that how it works out? 5 million a month. Naomi says that that's a lot of money. That's a very high status of life, Sharon. Yeah. 300,000 US a year. It's a lot of money. But I hope he made good with his earnings thus far. All right. Magalia says, I'm not wearing my glasses, so y'all forgive me. That's nice living. Right? It's nice living. Good. Afraz saying, how come my comment not showing? That's the first one I saw for you. And what stood out is the Rastafarian colors there. Afraz, I'm scrolling back up looking for the other comment. That's the first one that showed up, Afraz, and we try to read everybody's comment as much as we can as I catch the colors or the names. I don't know why I said before that. See, I'm trying to be fair. Veronica Primo Rollins there in Atlanta. Good morning. Folks, I want to come back. To your side and get some money from y'all. Do some fundraisers. I want to come back because this next 5 years is going to demand more out of us. It's going to demand more out of us. Simone Graves says that is 2,000. That's 2,000 a month rent in Brooklyn. 2,000 a month rent. All right, y'all do the maths quick for us. Bap. And let us know. Let me see. I don't trust y'all. Y'all see how is they here calculating y'all money? Calculating y'all money. So let us say that's 300,000 a year divided by 12 equal $25,000 a month. 25,000 US a month. We multiply it now. Let's put it by 200. Yep. $5 million a month. Yeah. That's 5 minutes of salary plus you got here. Yep. That could be nice living. But that being said, moving on, we want to see the outcome of that. Folks, looking towards the outcome of that. Deborah, Margaret said, Uncle living well. Should we all be so fortunate, Should we all be so fortunate? Guyana was before the United Nations Human Rights Committee quite recently. That's another issue we're picking up on. And I may have missed it, but we usually try to get the video feed and go through it for the salient points, of course, so that we can keep you all informed with valid, credible information. Just the facts. Well, we may have missed it, but we're being told that the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted Guyana's UPR report, the country's UPR report. Now, this UPR report, I'm advised, it summarizes the country's human rights records for the Universal Periodic Review. That's the UPR. The Universal Periodic Review process. And this is a peer review mechanism of the United Nations Human Rights Council, where all member states are assessed on their human rights obligations. And it provides an opportunity for a state to report on its actions and to receive recommendations from other UN member states on improving human rights. So we're told that coming out from the UN, that we adopted, that we are supporting 146 of the recommendations that were made by the council, and we have noted 58 others. So I got to delve into that because I want to know what are the 58 others that were noted. Why aren't we going in that direction of adopting? So we're going to drill down in that some more in a subsequent broadcast. But we know where human rights records is concerned, that this current government has always been found wanting. We have a very extremely, bigly poor human rights record. And so we're gonna drill down on some of this. The government has accepted 146 of the recommendations that were made, noting 58 others. Now, accepted should mean implementing, but we don't know that. We say, yes, I like these. That could be deemed as we accept them. When are we going to implement them? Right? But this is the kind of report we got to drill down in it and see what was accepted, what was noted, and what is needed as we move forward. I hope you guys are good. Please and thank you. We hope your human rights intact. So after all, we understand the beast we're dealing with. We understand. That being said, no sooner we are talking about human rights in this country, and I'm not saying these two things are linked. I started touching around in this seat here. Not saying these two things are linked, but the Minister of Tourism seemed a little peeved because just the other day, they were boasting they're capping hotel accommodation prices to $200 US, right? $200 US for Guyanese nationals. And of course, you who living in the diaspora. And this, I guess, was the spurn because all these hotels they're building, but nobody is staying them. So, look, you could have your honeymoon or what have you, but ordinarily, if you're earning $70,000 a month, even $120,000 a month, anybody will be hard pressed, to take a night. There's not a month, it's a night. And I don't get a sense is yet whether you got VAT included there or not. $40,000. It's going to be more than that because the exchange maybe $45,000. I don't know. Let's say $45,000, $200. Let's put it flat for argument's sake. It'd be hard pressed for anybody to take $40,000, and it's not a special occasion. It's not your 5-year anniversary, 10-year anniversary, or something like that. I remember when my wife and I got married. We got married in Berbice. Trying not to have to feed a lot of y'all from town. So we took the thing far. You gotta be smart in this life. You got your 2 pennies. There's an aunt of mine that say you got your 2 childers. You gotta act accordingly. You can't act in as though you got it like that. You gotta act accordingly. I'm gonna have to shift a little bit. You gotta act accordingly. I gotta talk to y'all and charge my microphone at the same time. You gotta act accordingly. Say we took the thing till to Berbice, couple folks still found us. But we had a night, and we still all now planning a proper anniversary. I taken my wife overseas several times, several cities across the US, and that lady would still tell me, "You don't plan anniversary yet." I got to sell my body again, So, but I remember that night we took a night at the hotel, and I had some great plans. When I was driving down, I started falling asleep. I said, girl, you got to drive this car. You got to drive this vehicle. And she took over, right? Because I said, I got rest up, you know how. And I had a lot of plans, you know. Scriptures got me fulfilled, you know. That's, many are the plans of a man's heart, but only the will of the Lord shall prevail. I had a lot of plans, you see, right? Is it Smokey Robinson? Tonight is the night. I'm going to make you a woman. You know, no, what that wasn't Smokey Robinson. That's a young lady. What's her name? You know, right? She says, "Please be gentle with me. We're going to make dreams come true." Help me with it. Yeah, no, come on, man. Come on, fire. What's the young lady's name? And now hearing her in my head. I went with some great ideas, you see, great expectation. Right? And by the time we start, by the time we got there, said, I can lie down for 5 minutes, man. All right. Both of us got up. When we got up, bright outside. You all don't tell anybody I said it. bright outside. Bright outside. But it's good you can laugh yourself, you know. Good. Bright. Tired to tell. Tired to tell, boy. You know. I don't know if 40,000 will make a difference. Where was it 2 nights or 1 night? Right? I know if 2 nights, 1 night, 40,000 make a difference. You see? Because when you got to think about not only that night, you got to think about the aftermath. We can't push the car home. When you get home, you can't get these people cheering hungry. You understand? You got to think about the month ahead. Especially the first month. You want people saying, "Is white coming?" Hey. Look, roach dying this cover. Look, them roach light on there. That's how things brung. You know? See, you got to get something rest down. You know? 40,000 is a lot of money. To anybody in this country. Anybody in this country. You go to a shop, you don't get the $2. People say $50, you get 48. But you better go back home. You better go back home. You can tell people you got the $40 change that they need. Right? When you come back, take some mints. People rowing bad now, fighting. Don't give me no mints. I ask you for any mints. I ask you for any mint. I want a mint. Give me $40. 40,000. Saw the minister rowing. No, they just announced that they got this cap. They got this cap. You know, this government is in a bubble, you know. They're in a bubble. And I think it has already been lost in them that it's only them getting this 1 point something million a month because they think like somehow that's the minimum wage. Everybody getting this 1 point something million. So no sooner this policy has been announced, this capping, and the US dashes away. The US dash a travel advisory in us. And I saw the new minister of tourism, Her Excellency Suzanne Rodriguez. Her Excellency Suzanne Rodriguez says she's working with the US Ambassador Nicole Terrio to have Washington lower its level 3 travel advisory. Level 3 travel advisory. The dash away. Rodriguez is arguing that the warning is outdated. Look how she's instructing the Americans now. I know Nicole Terrio is a true diplomat. You know, she's kind to the fault. Yes, Minister. You know, and then when Susan gone, Terrio do a Janet. Now that'll be lost on our young people, huh? She do a Janet jargon. The warning is outdated, Rodriguez said. And she said that crime has decreased. Hold my tongue this morning, Lord, it's early. Crime has decreased. And she said her ministry is compiling the statistics to present to the US officials. Now, wouldn't it have been wise to go with the stats? This is how this, and they don't see it. This is a blind spot. They operate on the premise, whatever they say, whatever they do is the right thing. And they're back to front. We're reversing into the future. Once you have compiled the stats to present, they're going to be part of your work ethics. You're going to argue a case, but you can come back with the facts. Take my word for it for now. You know, I used to work in a government agency. And I try to comport myself. Me ain't got friends. Me ain't got to work. I got a job to do. And I always got a report is on the first shelf by the door. What have I done for the month? Or a weekly report. I'm not required it, you know. But my work ethic dictated that any one time superiors asked me for some information, I got it. You know. I got it there. And any time I get a call from upstairs, Mr. Duncan, could you come upstairs and see us? I go into the door and I grab the file off the top shelf there. Always updating it. Always updating it. Where I went, who I spoke to, what was reported, what was said, what's the status of this, what is the update in that. Always updating it. Any meeting I go into the door, I pick up that file. You gonna see the ambassador and said, this thing is outdated, crime gone down, but I'm coming back with the stats. I'm gonna show you, I'm coming back with the stats. And that is the argumentation I was making in a video you might see circulating on social media. That departments don't talk to each other. You should have gone armed with that, prepared. That's what the businesses should have done. I'm not arguing she might be right or wrong, but you got to comport yourself differently, but you're going to learn. Right? They're going to get it right. They are going to get it right. Compiling the stats, and they're going to come back and right? I'll come back and tell you. The minister argued that tourism is vital to Guyana's economy. No arguments there. And warned that the advisory deters investment. What would have spawned this advisory? I'm advised this level 3 US advisory is issued by the State Department, and it means that you must reconsider travel. Minister, just roll out this 40,000 a night cap. All right. Reconsider travel. That's the level 3 advisory. That's what it means. And you must reconsider travel due to serious risk to safety and security. Serious risk to safety and security. And we're advised that this level also suggests that travelers should reconsider their trips because of potential threats such as widespread crime, terrorism, civil unrest, disease outbreaks, and specific risk could be further detailed in the advisory for the whichever country. Now, I could see why this might be justified from the Americans. You got some warships out there. Wasn't it yesterday? We told you all Maduro passed a decree giving himself sweeping powers just in case Venezuela is attacked by the US. Wasn't it yesterday we saw that? And then we could look at all those domestic issues that the minister so graciously pointed out. Crime and... Listen to me. Even when I don't have no money on me, I'm still very cautious in the city. Even when I don't have any money on me. And if I get $10 on me, who's you? Why are you so close? You just walk the city carefree. I just saw Irfan in Main Street, right outside the house. He's surrounded by security. He's surrounded by security right outside the gate. He went for casual walk right inside the gate. Talking to a woman. Sitting on a bench. And security take over the whole block. And he right outside the gate. How much more the average citizen? How much more the average citizen? He right outside his gate. And you could see in the background, security got a buffer zone. Helicopters and drone overhead, street block off. How much more the rest of us? Reconsider travel. That's what the level 3 security advisory says. And of course, you know, the minister wants that lifted. She said, we got a tread here. Everything nice. Hunky and dory. And as we and the minister, so the minister said, GuyExpo is back. GuyExpo is back November 13th to 16th. I will focus on transformation through entrepreneurship and innovation. They said they're doing some new networking zones, a bread basket centerpiece. You get something to eat. You know, you just carry your tea or your drink, whatever it is. And the minister said also, this is Suzanne Rodriguez, said that the expo will honor businesses, promote innovation, and connect local firms with international partners. He said the layout will be revamped for a family-friendly atmosphere, like it wasn't that before. You know, I keep wondering whether ministers understand the implication of some of what they say, especially those who are taking over from PVP ministers just yesterday, just last week, just 2 weeks ago. I wonder if they understand. And I don't know if it's me, but I notice like there's a beef between Sonia Parag and Priya Manikchan. They seem to be racing to show up the other person. They seem to be racing to show up the other person. When you view their comments, that ministry for 5 years was led by a PPP minister, and some of what the current minister is saying about projects in the ministry, they can be helpful, but I can do the PR for them. Some beef happening there. Some beef happening there. But they can get it right. One way or the other, they can get it right. So GuyExpo is coming up November 13th to 16th. Can't say they give you all that PSC. Right? That public service announcement. GuyExpo cometh. And let's raise some. We got a couple seconds left. Let's raise some. Looking forward to that bread basket. As a bread man. Looking forward to that bread basket. Right? Police they're continuing a probe. Now, when the police probing, you gotta be careful. When the police probing, we gotta be careful. They're continuing a probe. They said, reminding the public, don't offer policemen bribe. Don't do it. Right? Do not offer policemen bribe. Not even a little top up. That's the injunction from the Guyana police force. It is illegal, it says. And both the giver and the receiver will be prosecuted. Those of you who like to get by, breaking the law, and then you're bribing officers, the giver and the givee, the receiver, shall be prosecuted. Please take note. Right? Please take note. And this comes on the heel as the Guyana police force, they are investigating and probing airport officers demanding money. Airport officer demanding money. It's something you got to get a lot of pride in yourself not to do. I understand it, but I don't accept it. Remember I told you just a few moments ago that these ministers operate as though everybody getting $1 million salary. Some people finding it very hard to cope with the rising cost of living and the puny salary you have in an oil economy. And so when you go to town, you better got a lot of money in your pocket. So when you come out the bank, people don't know why you go in there or how you coming out. Like it's something now. And I ain't talking about destitutes on the road. Left something now. You gotta buy something in a supermarket. Somebody, the bag handler, the cashier, somebody. I can take a juice. But I think it's something that comes. You gotta get a lot of thing inside. You know. I can be as hungry. Hungry as could be. Left something, left a little thing. Left something. And that is what is permeating the culture in the Guyana police force. You going down a road, a highway, a roadblock. Left something. Right? I can take a barbecue money. Right? I can take a mixed fried rice and a small Coke money. We got to change that. Police say they're making a special effort to curb this. To curb it. Let's see how far it goes. If it goes anywhere, let's see how far it goes. And as we're in police, so an ex-policeman remanded for forgery and fraudulent demand. Forgery and fraudulent demand. This is Omari James. He's been remanded for allegedly presenting forged IDs and a fake withdrawal slip to collect $35 million from a city bank. I think it's GBTI. Mr. James has pleaded not guilty to the task and is due back in court on October 31st. He's pleaded not guilty. Former policeman. Yep. Forged withdrawal slips. Right. Forged ID, fake withdrawal slips. That being said, folks, here's an interesting piece of information for young people especially. You know, when you're young, you don't think about your mortality. You just don't. You don't think about it. Right? But it makes no difference. I saw quite recently Frank Anthony, Minister of Health, he's warned that cardiovascular diseases are now striking younger Guyanese. Right? Younger Guyanese. Listen to this stats. According to Frank, according to Dr. Anthony, he says between 2020 and 2024, close to 10,000 patients receive government funding, cardiac, dialysis, and cancer care, costing a lot of money. 4.2 billion. He went on to say that it's urging lifestyle changes. Urging lifestyle changes. And he says that their Hearts program operates in 247 health facilities. Lifestyle changes. So we don't think about our health, us young people. We just don't do it. We just don't do it. So let's do it. Cardiovascular diseases striking at younger Guyanese. Let's watch that. Let's watch that. And then if it's not that, it's what we're doing to ourselves. That's so worrying. What are we doing to ourselves? Right? What are we doing to ourselves? Eric Kissoon, 22 years old. Eric, they tell us, was drunk when he crashed his motorcycle. It was a borrowed motorcycle, an unlicensed motorcycle. He was intoxicated, inebriated. What is more, perhaps worse, right? He had a 13-year-old and a 28-year-old pillion riders. They were seriously injured. And I saw the photograph circulating on social media. 22 years old, drunk. Crashed a borrowed unlicensed motorcycle. But our thoughts and prayers with the families. Thoughts and prayers with the family and those who are injured. Speedy recovery to them. Speedy recovery to them. Remember we were talking about Minister Rodriguez earlier? She should have gone with the details. And I'll show you why systems can't work in this country. The PPP keep trying the same thing over and over and over. And they expect a different result. One of the foremost thinkers of our generation, perhaps of our lifetime, he said that's a recipe for madness. Albert Einstein, he said if you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result, cuckoo, it might be loony. So they want to clean up Georgetown. They want to clean up Georgetown. I saw they had a meeting quite recently. Minister Manik Chan had a meeting with the solid waste director. Solid waste director towards that end. Yep, meeting happened recently. They talked about the poor sanitation in Georgetown. Poor sanitation. This is solid waste director of the main city council. The solid waste director. Right. What struck me is that the minister wasn't meeting with the mayor. She wasn't meeting with the councillors. This is not the solid waste director of the Ministry of Local Government. But this is how they operate. To avoid the political directorate at City Hall, they will call whoever they want to call. And of course, everybody want to be nice with the government because it's their local government commission that hires and fires city staff. Has that commission reconvened as yet? The local government commission, the term ended, and I think for more than a year that commission has been defunct. Has it been reconstituted? Should the minister be meeting with City Hall? Should the government brief City Hall? I remember Granger went to City Hall, spoke to the councillors about the government's plan and vision. And I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, we handed over Clean City in 2020. We handed over Clean City. Former President Granger as he was then, it would be outside of his thinking to meet with the solid waste director alone for City Hall. Not a start amount to you're calling some department supervisor into a meeting and you leave out the minister, the permanent secretary, you're just dealing with the supervisor. And this is what the PPP keeps trying all the time. Divide and conquer. And you want to know why the city has the challenges that it has. I do not believe any councillor, APNU councillor, and mayor would be adverse to having a conversation with President Irfan Ali, with Priyam Manikchand, on any plan for Georgetown. We all win when the city wins. But this kind of effort gonna make friends? Is it gonna make friends? It's not gonna make friends. This is going to exacerbate the problems that already exist. But they don't see it. They have a blind spot. It's going to exacerbate the problem. How do you think the mayor should feel? How do you think the mayor should feel? When you children live on their own, they got count for themselves. If the solid waste director had his own company, he could account for himself. He need no permission from City Hall because he command the purview of City Hall. But in this instance, he does. A clean city was handed over to this government in 2020. And they weren't going to hand over clean city had they lost government. When you listen to some of the things that they're proposing, what have they done with the last 5? What prevented them from implementing those things in the last 5? How many councillors they have at City Hall? How many projects were done through those councillors at City Hall in the last 5? So that meeting happened yesterday. And then I noted also that the minister herself, apologies, had a meeting with Irfan on some allied matters. National solid waste and beautification drive. I remember the Ministry of Local Government under Ronald Balkan. They were moving in the direction of a national solid waste policy. It seemed very coherent to me when I went through it. And they had a consultation with City Hall. That's how I came into contact with it. They said with or without City Hall. part of the consultation, the buy-in, was done at City Hall. When the Ministry of Public Works wanted to be part of the beautification of Georgetown, they consulted with City Hall. And we could have said, well, as we councillors, they got to take where we send them. And that is how at City Hall we had a consultation with the staff from the Guyana Public Ministry of Infrastructure at that time. And that is how I can tell you that part of the beautification, you see that wharf, that jetty they did at Kingston Seawall with the seating at the extreme end. The plan was to bring that from at the back of Stabrook Market. That you'd be able to go at the back of Stabrook Market after they rehabilitate the market. And they'd put down kiosks. And you'd have that kind of a, what do you call it? Boardwalk. Running from the back of Stabrook Market all the way around to Kingston. Of course, give and take, you have some of the businesses there might interrupt. But I remember it was the consultation was done with City Hall as part of the beautification process for the city. Another plan that we were briefed on, you hear them talking about this, putting Ministry of Public Works headquarters in that Higgs Bosch area. Apnu government, AFC government, had a plan ready and waiting to execute with the oil money. They were going to centralize all government services, buildings in that area. So you don't have to crisscross town to find different ministries. You'd have all of them in a cluster, freeing up more space in the city for business and so on. We handed over a clean city. You don't remember what was Stabrook Market prior to 2015? Every government has the right and the duty to keep where the seat of the government is in pristine condition. In pristine condition. They have the onus. I saw Irfan Ali walking down Main Street talking with that young lady this morning. And on the very Main Street he's walking on, Stanley Ming and Company gave that as their contribution to the beautification of the city. Those benches on Main Street, building up the avenue, putting in those plants there. My only regret was that they didn't do the whole thing. Maybe they didn't have the money. Certainly we didn't have the oil money to continue it. But every day, every street of the city was being weeded. Bush being cut. And so on. And nobody then saying, oh, the PPP, every turn, PPP. We're going to rescue, Rescue is a one-off. We might be good at rescuing, but the maintenance, that is the issue we have. And we can go beyond Apnu. I saw Enrico Wolford. Him and I seem to have been thinking the same thing. Because I remember Professor Akbar Khan from Pakistan on an international grant did a whole study on how you bring Georgetown in the 21st century. That study was done under the PPP stewardship. 2010, 2000 something, somewhere between 2000 and 2010. That study, Professor Akbar Khan, right? And it made a number of recommendations. You know what was done with that study? It was left on a shelf, right? It was left on a shelf to get dust. And now the PPP come back talking about rescuing the city, right? I'll just pick out some of what Enrico put in as coming out from this plan. Look how far this plan goes back to 2008. You see how far? And the plan stretches back as far as 2002 to bring Georgetown into the 21st century. Construction of roundabouts at critical junctions to increase traffic capacity. Landscaping and setting aside of conservation zones. Kenneth said that Georgetown prison should be relocated, as well as some of the services of the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Defense Force, which according to him were taking up prime areas in the city, which could be put to more beneficial use. We've seen this movie before. We have seen this movie before. And in the coming days and weeks, I'll talk more about it. But this is not about beautifying the city. This is about local government election that is on the horizon. That is what it is about. It's not because they have no interest. Why all this wasn't pursued in the last 5 years? Why? We didn't have oil money? Why wasn't it pursued? This sudden beautification drive. Same thing with the last election and local government. A whole lot of contracts given out for this and that. Lots of them have since been abandoned. Then the Jagdeo made a big fuss. Oh, they're bringing the zoological park into the 21st century. What's happened to that? What's happened to that restoration effort of the zoo and botanical gardens? What has happened to that? Oh, we're going to fix the Rupantier Cemetery. Project stall. That was just for your election benefit. They ain't got no real interest in that. None. But we got LGE on the horizon. So we got to show that we care about Georgetown. We're out of time, folks. Let's leave it there this morning. We are out of time. Let us leave it here this morning. Right? I have no great hate for PPP people or the PPP that is beyond what contending political parties might feel for each other. But we got to see through this playbook. Where you going to see it? Visit? Bush chopping, quick, quick, quick. Road painting, quick, quick, quick. Look at all the paint for the length of the Heroes Highway. Peeling off. 2 mornings. Wasting money. And as I pointed out, in that video you'll see circulating on social media, they just lay along the road there. Recap that road 5-6 times in the last 5 years. Avenue of the Republic between Parliament Building and Crowell Street. Just laid it down again. They come and dig it up. That's good governance. Another area every 2 mornings. Bank of Guyana, Avenue of Republic in front of Bank of Guyana, National Library. Every 2 mornings, dig up, dig up, dig up, dig up. How can we fix him problem? How can we fix him problems? Might as well they just put down 2 asphalt plants in them 2 locations and then dedicated to recapping them 2 areas. And Hatchery Road by Carifest Avenue there in front by Queen's College and done. Folks, that's going to do it for us at this end. that's the type this morning. Just thought I had to share a couple issues with y'all. Right? Share a couple issues with y'all. And that's why when I hear I see James Ronald talking about the city. You know, like I said, I harbor no ill will for people beyond political rivalry in parties. Right? I have no disdain, no hatred beyond that. But you don't know about the thing, shut your mouth. You don't know nothing about the city, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Under the David Granger government, I'll close with this. And I wrote about this in the papers. I, as deputy mayor of the city of Georgetown, I was on a study tour to Mexico, Colombia, there's a 3rd country. And we were looking at traffic management. We didn't talk it. We were looking at traffic management. Right? Those people got all kind of euphemisms. Right? City mobility. In those places, the pedestrian, I told you about this before, is at the apex of the hierarchy. You give way to pedestrians. I spent a week in Colombia. I never hear a car horn blow and 6 lanes on either side of a road. 6 lanes on either side of a road. I spent a week and didn't hear 1 car horn blow. We would pull up to the traffic lights, wait for the traffic lights to turn green. If a pedestrian hits that thing for the pedestrians to cross, people wait. And when the pedestrian is clear that area, the pedestrian crossing, the traffic goes. If you see traffic in Mexico, you know, I hear the last government. Mexico, they took us to a place you can see huge screen on this wall and in this room, all around. And every bus, they could press a button and see inside that bus. Every bus on the road. And based on where the traffic is, the high volume pedestrian traffic, the traveling public, they could divert, reroute buses. Fantastic. I never heard him say the last administration. What they were showing us is how they moved from a congested city. And that was the plan of ACNU government. Maybe we didn't sell it well. And when we came back from that tour, there was a meeting of stakeholders, of which Chase Green was part of it. And then it's now Tower Suites, used to be Tower Hotel. Where was Tower Suites since then? There was a meeting of stakeholders there. There have been studies done by the last government about moving the city forward. Again, in Professor Akbar Khan's plan, since 2008, 2002, for advancing the city, he talks also, I've read it, he talks also about relocation of some of the bus parks, building them out as bus terminals. In some of the studies that were done under the APNU government, you'd see they study where people live and where they work, where they go. And on the table was to put a bus route between South and the East Coast, South and UG, because when they look at the traveling public, they realize a lot of people come from South. South has 30,000 people, if not 40,000, live in that South Rhineveldt Park, South Rhineveldt Gardens, North Rhineveldt area there. And they have to come into the city, Stabroek Market, UG, for a connecting bus and then go up the East Coast. And so to ease that congestion in the city, you shuttle them from South straight to the East Coast. So we can't talk but no tap. Bringing in solid waste director for photo ops and for aesthetics. Don't bring in no solid waste director to be a wallpaper. If we are moving the city forward, all stakeholders gotta come on board. All of them. Show me the green paper or the white paper, whatever paper. With this rescue mission, there's none. They're gonna build that now. If I tell them something, nothing on paper. And everybody gets scattering. We're trying to put it together now. As against doing it the inverse way. Let the people who understand the thing, study the thing, and then come and say, this is what we think we should be doing. Politics in this country spoils everything. It spoils everything. Let us we got the money to do it. Let us hire the best. City planners, town planners. We can pull them in from the best universities in the world, the best corporations in the world. And let us do something for all time in the name of God. Let us do something for all time. When those people built Washington, they know they ain't got to go put another column up there for 200 years. When they build a Lincoln Memorial, they put on the marble there. The other memorial that is opposite. When they put on those structures there and laid out that place, you got kind of hammer nail there next month. What the matter is with y'all? We ought to build something 200 years from now. Right? Our descendants saying, our foreparents had vision. Our foreparents had vision. They had vision. Look at Linden Highway. Them boys have to go long far, you know. The foundation is so solid. They just scrape up the top and gone again. The foundation is so strong. What y'all ever build like that? Skeleton Sugar Factory? The fiber optic cable project? What y'all ever build like that? But see, I don't want to get into that mode because I believe where we're going, all of us are needed. All of us. You think when they're building AI, Sam Altman and all the other pioneers that came before him, they said, oh, use Democrat or Republican. You can't add nothing here. You use a Republican, use a Democrat. Or do we want the brightest people to move the thing forward? All right, we ready for the kind of discussion yet? We say, well, who is APNU? Who is APNU? APNU never gave y'all Darmlal. APNU never gave y'all Joe Hamilton. Never give you alarm. What's the other one? Anan Pasad. Who's up now? You got Sukai. That's our time, folks. That's our broadcast. We can see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Forgive me there for carrying you all into the overtime. Stay safe.